Mercedes technicians with bad attitudes. I sometimes get into it with subscribers and commenters and people who are watching that leave interesting comments. So somebody left a comment saying that all the 380, 450, and 560 SLs really did not drive that well. And this was in my video on the 500 SL. And that the cars would be better with an LS swap. And so I'm a pretty mild-mannered person for those of you that know me, but no, an LS swap doesn't improve any car, especially not a 107. And because the LS is the most blown-up engine in the United States, and because most people who like LS engines can barely read, and if they can read, then they don't use that skill very often. Just to be fair, you know, I'm an equal opportunity hater. Yeah, but the root of this was that this guy used to work at Mercedes, and he was a technician. And well, I'm not saying that like every technician has to think that Mercedes cars are the best in the world. I think if you were working on vintage Mercedes, and if you have been entrusted with the vintage Mercedes, and you have a repair shop specializing in vintage Mercedes, or you're working at a Mercedes dealer and you get the privilege, yes, privilege of working on a Mercedes Classic, you should believe that that's the best damn car in the world. And I'm not saying that because you have, you know, because I'm trying to brainwash you or say that you should brainwash yourself. I'm saying it because I know if I was bringing my car into a Mercedes dealership, I would expect the technician to understand the following three things. One, why Mercedes Benz, at least until somewhere between 1990 and 95, built a superior product to everything else on the road. You could just go ask the hordes of taxi drivers in North Africa. I don't know, maybe they have something to say. Number two, I want that technician not only to know that, but to understand why. So I want them to understand why other cars are inferior. Whether it's the fact that Peugeot ruined their diesel engines with electronic fuel injection, or that Porsche decided to put a timing belt on the 928 that could theoretically break at any time, or that Mercedes decided that an excellent fuel injection system does not have to be totally governed by a fragile, heat-sensitive, time-sensitive electronic control unit. They need to understand that Mercedes does not build crappy cars. And then number three, that items like safety or solidity or excellent construction are way more important than road feel or acceleration or weight balance. The beautiful thing about Mercedes engineering is that the entire car flows harmoniously, from the integration of the engine to the way that the suspension feels, to the seats, to the steering box. Everything flows harmoniously. Even in my old 220D that was falling apart that I drove in college, everything felt harmonious and synchronized and mechanical, like it was all machined to perfection. Now, when you take a car like an 81 380 SL, and you're like, oh, I'm going to rip the climate control out and come up with my own invention and pull the engine out and put another type of engine in, an inferior engine, you lose that harmoniousness because those components weren't designed with the car. So they're never going to feel right or work well. And really, you can't appreciate a Mercedes unless you're driving the car day in and day out and depending on the car every day of the week, rain or shine, you know, bad road conditions or not. You can't have a relationship with a car unless you're fully you can't have a total understanding of a car and a good relationship with the car unless you're fully invested in it. And this is where I think a lot of technicians fall short. That's why you can't take your Mercedes to a multi-make automotive repair shop because it's all the same to them, you know? When you have a guy who goes from working on a BMW X5 or an Audi, and then they go to work on like a 450 SL or a 380 SE or a 300D, their brain has been so damaged by trying to fix all of the crap that's wrong with the Audi, they can't even, or the BMW, they can't even see, recognize, appreciate, diagnose, and repair good engineering. And one of the reasons why I specialize strictly in classic Mercedes is because I can go to work every day with a clear head. I'm not confused trying to beat the clock, trying to chase a bunch of electrical problems that could have been needlessly avoided in the first place if the cars were designed properly. So, you know, if you think that you're going to take a 124 or another Mercedes, a 107, and swap the engine or put an electric powertrain into it, just remember that you're taking a car that was designed as a serious engineering project with thousands of brilliant minds and just turning into a joke, basically a golf cart or something, you know. If you're going to do that stuff, then just do it with a newer Mercedes, because that's a whole different story about Mercedes design and development of their newer cars. But I just, you know, don't insult somebody, regardless whether they're dead or retired, by taking their masterpiece, saying it's not good enough, and then suggesting the installation of one of the worst engines ever. And don't take your car to a technician who doesn't care or appreciate it. They should be excited because it's a privilege to get to work on these cars. At least that's how I feel. Maybe I'm crazy, but you know, this business is just a wonderful thing. I could have never imagined that things would have worked so well. So thank you to all of you for helping me accomplish that. In the meantime, please like, share, and subscribe, and share this video with all of your friends. And if you really love this video, think about supporting us on Patreon and tap the bell for notifications. And remember that you are going to appreciate your Mercedes more than everyone. So if you physically can, learn to work on it yourself. I look forward to seeing your comments below. Unless you have something stupid to say, then I'm just going to ignore it because I'm right. Enjoy driving your classic Mercedes.